Sea of Guests, coming to you live from Alexi's basement. Amphetamine use is on the rise today in America, taking the lives of hundreds of teens yearly. Dr. Conder's new documentary follows the life of one meth addict. And we have a clip for you today for your viewing pleasures, the truth about meth.
Hello, I'm Dr. Conder, and this is a documentary on amphetamines. Amphetamines are becoming increasingly popular in the world today. This drug was first used as a decongestant inhaler and an alertness drug for soldiers during World War II. The most commonly abused amphetamine is methamphetamine, also known as meth, crystal, or ice. All research now is based on abnormal findings in brain chemistry. Alcohol and drug addicts have a deficiency in the two main components of the brain, dopamine and serotonin. Dopamine is the stimulant neurotransmitter, and serotonin is the mood neurotransmitter. The natural state of people with dopamine and serotonin deficiency is restlessness, irritability, and a state of being discontent. These people try to use the consumption of methamphetamines and other amphetamines to counteract the deficiency. This theory is very subjective, however. These drugs are only temporary and cause horrible side effects, such as paranoia, depression, hallucinations, and death.
2 years was about all I could stand of it. At first, I just did it because it was cheaper than cocaine. You know, I mean, it's $100 worth of cocaine will get you high for 5 or 6 hours, and $100 worth of methamphetamine will keep you awake for about 3 days. So it was a lot cheaper to stay high initially, but just like anything, you know, you go from $100 keeping you up for 3 days to being able to do $100 worth in a day and then to still not be able to stay awake. So so that's basically how it started, and then I went from doing a little bit a couple times a week to staying up for 4 or 5 days at a time. The problem with staying up for 4 or 5 days at a time is that you begin to suffer from sleep deprivation while you're awake. So you see things that aren't really there. You become extremely paranoid. For some reason, I was always obsessed with the police. You know, I thought that the police were gonna, at any moment, you know, come bust in my door, which never happened. But I was always certain that they were. They were watching me, whoever they were. They never came, but I always had this paranoia that at any moment, you know, the police were going to break down the door. That went on for it took probably 6 months of me doing it for me to get that bad, but the last year and a half that I was doing it was like totally that bad. I spent most of my time trying to figure out the difference between what was really happening versus what I was just imagining was happening. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to figure out fact from fantasy, trying to figure out what was just paranoia and what was actually really happening. That was August of 2001. I was in treatment for 8 months. I was in long-term treatment. So I was in treatment for 8 months, and then I started working at the treatment center that I went through, and I worked there for a year and got certified to teach recovery dynamics, which is a guide through the 12 steps, which is what I do now. So I've been a counselor for about 7 years. So I've seen both sides of it. I've seen the destruction that it causes, and I've seen people get better from it, and I've gotten better from it myself. So the last 7 years have been about me trying to help other people that have struggled with the same thing that I've struggled with, to try to find a solution to their problem.